Welcome to my realm of terror.
Diablo to me is atmosphere wrapped with action.
Constant action. Diablo is stories.
Diablo is loot.
Magic loot.
Cool loot.
Fat loot.
Diablo is the ultimate
Epic.
Dark.
Gothic.
Scary.
fight between heaven and hell.
No one would know where that's from, probably.
Diablo was a new style of game for us.
Before Diablo, the idea of this fast-paced, real-time RPG didn't really exist.
Blizzard's making an RPG. Why would you do that? RPGs are dead.
It was pitched as a turn-based RPG, get ready for it, done in claymation.
A lot of things that people take for granted now, like great 3D graphics, were things that you didn't have back then. You had to be very creative with different ways to make the game.
We had really decided to do something sort of, brash.
We want to take the twist of turning a turn-based role-playing game into a real-time role-playing game.
And it made it fast-paced, it made it immersive.
It wasn't something that you would have to invest millions of hours in because you're trying to answer the questions of this story that's going on. You invest millions of hours in Diablo because it's fun to play.
Who doesn't remember some of their best boss fights?
My favorite boss fight is Belial.
Belial.
Duriel.
Malthael.
The Butcher.
The Butcher.
The Butcher.
The Butcher.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat. Like, what was that? And this guy comes out, chop, chop, chop.
Our initial instinct was, let's hide it kind of deep in the dungeon. And Alan Adham, he said, no, let's put it right at the beginning. So everybody who plays this game is going to experience that right away, and it'll set the stage.
We want you to feel a little bit nervous, a little bit scared.
It's not a comfortable experience.
The core of the Diablo experience is that terror or that horror that's there.
There's really two stories going on. There's the story of the game.
Titanic forces heaven and hell against you.
Story of the ascent of humanity.
Continuing to strive to achieve something against some pretty terrible odds.
And there's a lot of hacking demons and stuff.
And of course, on the other hand, there's the player story. The story of staying up way later than you should have.
If I could just get to that next waypoint.
Oh man, I'm super close to leveling. Okay,
That boss is right around the corner.
Before I knew it, it was dark.
okay, I'm just gonna play through this last area and I'm gonna close this out.
I called in sick to work that very first day, the very first time I installed Diablo.
I finished the whole game in one sitting.
You're invited to just come in and stay a while.
Hours, days, sometimes even weeks.
Deckard Cain says it, stay a while and listen.
Stay a while and listen.
Stay a while and listen. Stay a while.
Stay a while. Stay a while.
Stay a while and no, I can't do it.
Stay a while and listen.
What makes Diablo fun is getting that awesome piece of gear.
The first time you saw that amazing item,
And it's got the stats you're looking for.
just completely changed how you thought about your character.
Oh my gosh, I got this set item. Hey, do you have this set item?
And it's that camaraderie of being with your buddies and yelling at each other. And then when suddenly someone turns their hostile flag on and then kills half the team when they're in the middle of a boss fight.
I just died.
I don't get to get revenge on the bastard who killed me.
Coming this close to killing Diablo,
Missing the treasure goblin.
having to do it all over again.
But then finally doing it, that's also what makes it satisfying. I actually would like to see Diablo harder.
I think that there were a lot of things that took a while for people to discover and find.
Best kept secrets of Diablo,
Secrets.
Probably the biggest secret about Diablo is if you click the gemstone 1,000,001 times.
Are we talking about the chat gem?
The chat gem?
I don't know how much I want to talk about that one.
We're not allowed to do chat gems anymore.
There was a gem in the user interface, and someone decided you could click on it. And people start attaching meaning to that.
What's up with the chat gem? What does the chat gem do? We think the chat gem does this.
It's not 1,000,000 times, it's 1,000,001.
1 million, 10 million.
Tech support would constantly get telephone calls.
Try clicking it 100 more times.
The chat gem did exactly what the chat gem was supposed to do.
It never did anything.
Completely functionless.
And of course, when you deny things, people start imagining it's real.
There is no cow level.
Cow level? No, I'm sure there's no cow level.
Of course there's a cow level.
It doesn't really sound very Diablo to me.
I know there's the answer I'm supposed to say.
I would have to deny all existence of the cow level.
I would have to deny the existence of a cow level.
I've played the cow level.
That sounds utterly ridiculous.
Frankly, I don't appreciate the rumor.
Maybe.
I think the tone of Diablo really sets it apart from other Blizzard games.
Well, Diablo's really our only mature rated game, so I think it gives us an opportunity as developers and also as players to kind of go to some really dark places.
It pushes some boundaries.
If I remember, there were a few countries where we didn't get to release.
We don't set out to have mature rated, and I don't know that we'll ever do another mature rated game.
A mature rating actually carries a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility. It's not something that you want to take lightly and just do because you can, because you're a mature rated game.
There's forces of heaven and hell clashing with the mortal world. There's going to be some bloody noses, guys.
Diablo was also the first game on the Battle.net platform.
Back then, IT support was pretty wild, wild west.
There was one person working on Battle.net.
As a fledgling IT guy, it made it very interesting because I was used to the interaction in the office of, oh yes, let me help you with your computer. And then it was there's a machine in a room, and if you turn that off, 10,000 people just lost their game.
This is too important to have it be one person's part-time job. And so literally Diablo created the Battle.net team out of nothing.
I remember when that service was amazing that there were 1,000 or 2,000 people online to play games with you. And now we look at the order of millions upon millions of people that engage with our games.
I think one of the goals in development on Diablo 3 was accessibility, right? We wanted to be really accessible to players of all skill levels. The game should be pick up and slay.
So we did a lot of experiment with what we called like action storytelling, where a lot of it would happen out in the world, and that's really, I think, where the game found its feet.
I think Diablo rounds out our IPs.
It's the alternative music, you know. It's the Radiohead to the Britney Spears.
It was a big part of what made Blizzard Blizzard and what grew the fan base for our company.
Diablo has a legacy.
We're celebrating a 20-year anniversary, and people are still playing this game.
Somebody will say, "What do you do?" And I'll tell them I worked on World of Warcraft and now I work on Overwatch. And they'll be like, "Yeah, I don't care about that. Do you know anybody who works on Diablo?"
You know, our community is more than just a community. It's part of our family.
There's all these amazing stories of how people made these connections.
I remember we got a letter from somebody saying like, hey, I met this person playing Diablo, we're gonna get married.
I've given a copy of the game to one of my friends every time, and because he's far away, I can only really interact with him at times just to say, hey, what's going on, through Diablo. And I think about that bond, that friendship, like that's massive.
We come to work with the best people, and day in and day out, what's our goal?
To make things explode in blood and treasure. And I can't think of a better job that you could have, and I'm so excited to come in every day.
I just want to say thanks to all of the players.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for 20 years of Diablo.
We'll see you in hell.